You know, sometimes the future doesn't show up with a big, flashy press conference. Sometimes it just appears. And that's pretty much exactly what just happened in the AI world. It sparked this wild digital detective story, a hunt for a ghost in the machine. So let's dive in and follow the clues.
So this is the big question that got everybody talking. Did GPT-5 just secretly drop? Here's what happened. Two brand new, totally anonymous models. They're called Horizon Alpha and Beta. They just popped up on OpenRouter. Now, OpenRouter is this cool platform where devs can play with and compare all sorts of different AI models. And the thing is, these Horizon models were so good and so different that the speculation just went crazy. Everyone was wondering, is this some major lab secretly testing their next-gen AI out in the wild?
Okay, to really get why everyone's so hyped, you've got to see it for yourself. Look at this comparison. On the left, that's a UI made by Claude 3 Opus, which is, one of the top models out there right now. And it's fine. It's functional. It gets the job done. But then look at the right. That's Horizon Alpha, given the exact same prompt. I mean, the difference in quality, in just pure aesthetic taste, it's just staggering. We're not talking a little bit better here. This is a whole other level. So yeah, when you see something that good, the question becomes, who made this? The race was on. The entire community basically turned into digital detectives trying to piece together every little clue to figure out who's behind these mysterious Horizon models.
All right, first step in any investigation like this. You just ask the suspect directly. And get this, when people asked Horizon Alpha what it was, it said it was a model trained by OpenAI. I mean, that sounds like a huge clue, right? Case closed.
Well, hold on. It's not quite the smoking gun you'd think. See, these models learn from just massive amounts of text from the internet. And we've seen this before. Other models have claimed to be from OpenAI just because they were trained on a ton of stuff that was written by OpenAI's models. So this could totally be a misdirection, a red herring.
So if you can't trust what the model says about itself, you have to look at how it works under the hood. There's a much more reliable kind of digital fingerprint for AI models. It's called tokenization, which is basically just how it chops up words and sentences to understand them.
And this is where things get really interesting. See, when you give different models a very specific kind of messy piece of text, you can see their unique tokenization fingerprint. OpenAI's models, like GPT-4o, they break it down into 335 tokens. But Horizon Alpha, it uses 334. And guess what? That 334 token count is a perfect match for models from Queen, which is a big AI lab in China. Now, that's not 100% proof, but it definitely makes the mystery a lot deeper.
Okay, so aside from the whole who made it mystery, the other big question is, how good is this thing, really? And honestly, the answer is weird. It's complicated. The Horizon models are like these flawed geniuses. They can do some things that are just mind-blowing, but then they completely fall on their face in other areas.
Let's talk about the good stuff first, because it's seriously impressive. We already saw how amazing it is at styling UIs. I mean, best in class. It's also a champ at generating complex SVGs. That's basically code that draws a picture. And it aces these really tricky creative tests, like the famous pelican on a bicycle one. On top of all that, it's super fast. Oh, and it has this weirdly human quirk. If you give it tools, it likes to make a to-do list for itself before it even starts the task. Kinda cool, right?
But then, you flip the coin over, and it's a completely different story. When you test Horizon on the boring standard academic stuff, especially math and logic, it does terribly. I mean, shockingly bad. As you can see on this chart, it scores way, way lower than even smaller, much less exciting models. It's like it's a creative genius, an artist, but definitely not a mathematician.
And this weird pattern keeps popping up. There's this one benchmark called Skatebench. It's designed to test knowledge of niche Western culture, in this case, skateboarding. Horizon gets a score of about 20%. Now that's actually way better than most models from China, which usually struggle with that kind of specific cultural stuff. But it's still nowhere near the top-tier Western models. It's stuck in this strange, confusing middle ground.
And all of this weird profile, it leads to a much bigger question, which this quote really nails. If a model feels amazing and super useful for everyday tasks, but it bombs all our standard tests, who's wrong? Is the model flawed? Or are our tests just not measuring the right things anymore? It really makes you wonder if our benchmarks are failing to see what makes a model great in the real world.
Okay, so after all this sleuthing, what's the bottom line? Let's pull it all together and give you the verdict on what we actually know for sure. And hey, if you're thinking of trying it yourself, I've got a couple of warnings for you too.
So, here's the personality profile we've built. First, it's anonymous. We don't know who made it. Second, it's a non-reasoning model, which means it spits out answers instantly without showing its work. But we did see it briefly have reasoning, so we know that capability is in there somewhere. Third, it's an absolute ace at anything aesthetic, UI, style, visuals. Fourth, it has that funny quirk of planning things out with a to-do list. And finally, it's just plain bad at standard benchmarks.
So, are you thinking of trying Horizon out? Here are 3 quick things you need to know. First, you can find it on OpenRouter right now. Go for it. Second, and this is a big one, remember that a model this good that's also free, well, it isn't really free. They are almost definitely training on your data. That's the price. And third, if you're going to try it, do it fast. These kinds of ghost models have a tendency to just vanish without a trace.
But you know, this whole thing is bigger than just 1 or 2 cool, mysterious models. The way Horizon showed up could be a sign of a really big change in how powerful new AI gets tested and even launched.
And I say that because Horizon isn't the only one. There was another anonymous model that popped up recently. People were calling it Lobster, and it was also incredible at making beautiful UIs. But here's the really wild part. Both models seem to have the same design signature. They both love this very specific corner-faded dot-style gradient. That's too much of a coincidence, right? It really suggests they might be related, maybe part of some bigger secret public beta test. And that brings us to the final, really provocative question. Are we looking at the new playbook for launching AI? Forget the big, polished press events. Are AI labs now going to use these anonymous, stealthy public betas to collect real-world data and see how we react, all before the official launch? Because if that's the case, the next huge breakthrough in AI might not come with an announcement. We're going to have to go out and find it ourselves.